عندي 106 سنين 106 سنين الحمد لله.
Hello and welcome to Meet Us on the Abraham Path. I'm Anisa Mehdi, Executive Director of the Abraham Path Initiative. And we're just so glad that you're here today to join us for the launch of our third season. Abraham Path Initiative envisions a future in which the region we call the Middle East, the region of Southwest Asia, may become known for its spectacular walking trails and warm, hospitable people. We do this by driving economic growth, social development, and cultural heritage preservation through the tool of community-based tourism. Since the pandemic, of course, our mission has expanded to include online programming like this webinar that highlights the people and cultures of the region that seem inevitably to include traditions of hospitality. Today, we take a look at the impact of the pandemic on Palestinian craftspeople. No tourists, no market. However, the work goes on, in part with the leadership and support of Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans. Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans, or BFTA, is a nonprofit that connects Palestinian craft producers with the global market using sustainable and equitable trade practices. This benefits the artists, of course, with respectable and responsible pricing, and helps share the cultural traditions of embroidery, glassmaking, wood carving, all the while telling personal stories of the artists. Today, we meet the leadership of BFTA and invite you to ask them questions too by using the Q&A function in your control panel. So let me welcome today's guests. We welcome Suzanne Sahori, founder of the Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans. Suzanne was born and raised in the city of Beit Sahur, and she's joining us from Beit Sahur this day, not far from Bethlehem. Suzanne is an advocate for the values of fair trade, helping to sustain families socially and economically at an unstable political time. Also joining us is Salam Sahori, born into a family of fair trade champions, right, Salaam?
Yes.
After university, she began to work at a local bank, but no, satisfaction wasn't there. Satisfaction came from connecting with marginalized communities of craftspeople, helping generate income. Sahori friends, how are you today?
Good afternoon and good evening in Palestine. We are doing fine, thank you. We are honored to be with you today.
We're so glad to have you. So glad to have you both.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. It's an honor. It's an honor. Our pleasure is ours. Thank you for doing this for BFTA and our partner artisans.
Indeed, it's our pleasure. And you are a mother and daughter pair of leaders in this organization. Some might think that could be a dangerous mix in business. And for some, it could be the opposite. How is it working out for you as a mother and daughter team at the leadership of BFTA?
Well, shall I start? Okay. Now, Salaam, my daughter, she was an honor student at Bethlehem University. And upon graduation, actually, she was immediately hired by the Bank of Palestine. They usually take up the best students at the university. She started working there. At the same time, she was a volunteer at all our events. Whenever we have an event, we have like a display for artisans, we have a session, we have a meeting, we have bazaar or something. She's always on the microphone and talking to people about fair trade, what is fair trade, talking to all the artisans, asking them about what they produce and looking at their products. So since she was very young, she was always in our events. Then we had an opening at BFTA for a project manager for the craft village. She will talk more. And then she was hired by Christian Aid. They paid her salary for 3 years. Now we are paying her salary. That's how she was actually, I didn't even know she even applied for this position without telling me. She was hired, and it was an honor to have her, so.
Well, your mother's not too proud of you, Salam.
Oh, yeah.
What's it like working with Suzanne?
I think it's amazing. I consider Suzanne first as a role model. I always, before I started with BFTA, I was speaking about how much of an amazing woman she is. She started Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans only to support the marginalized producers, which in my eye was fascinating. She's a leader. I aspire to be a leader, and now I think I became one. Through all of the struggles we saw, she considered herself one of the artisans. She started from zero, where they started from zero. So we supported each other as artisans and founders at BFTA. And I'm proud to say that this is my mother. This is the woman leader of the organization. This is the executive director of BFTA. She did such an amazing job, and I would love to carry on the legacy, the mission she started 10 years ago with Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans. So this is why I'm here today. I am passionate about BFTA.
You know, some people might think that having your daughter work for you would be, you know, she's getting an easy job. Suzanne, is that the case? And Salam, does she give you any freebies, or are you getting it even harder? Do you have to work even harder?
You know, I don't have to give her any freebies. She's the one that keeps herself in line, being as the rest of the staff, and amazing. The team, she works with the team really amazing, and she makes sure that she's doesn't take advantage at all, and that's why she's loved by the staff even more than me. No, I don't. I consider all the staff, we are a family. Not Salam only. Yasmin, Shadin, Ibrahim, and Suhaila. We consider us, even the artisans are part of our family. They come and tell me their stories. If they need help, they come to me. You know, so it's a family. It's family, not me and Salam. It's the whole family. We call each other artisans, BFTA staff, the board. Everybody is a family. And that's how we work.
You've had a particularly personal challenge this last year, Suzanne, recovering now from a bout with cancer. Has that had an impact on your ability to get your job done? Serve your...
Oh, yes. You know, having the cancer I was diagnosed almost 9 months ago with cancer, and it was most difficult because I just lost my younger sister with cancer, who died Christmas, not last year, the year before. And I was afraid, of course, because it's cancer and I lost a sister. But then maybe God still has a mission for me in life, that I'm cured today. I've done my chemotherapy. I went all through it. I think every hard thing you pass in your life, it makes me stronger. So I am much stronger. I even feel much younger now. After the treatment and after having the operation, my hair is growing, so Linda can see it now. My friend Linda, whom I met a few years ago. It makes me stronger. It makes me want to do more. Oh, thank you. And so cancer, I try to change the way women in Palestine think about cancer. I shaved my head after chemotherapy, the second session, I shaved my head and I told women, listen, you don't have to be ashamed. Live your life, live the day by day. And I used to wear beautiful hats every time, a different color hat. Now it's cold. If it's not cold, I will go out like this. I'm not ashamed. It makes me stronger. And it makes me want to live more and do more. Even the artisans, they worry about me. They come to, how are you, Suzanne? You know, if I'm not there, they call me on the mobile. Are you okay? Do you need anything? That's when I say it's a family. I am much stronger than before. And I thought I will work until 65, but I'm gonna work until I'm 70 at least now. And having Salam and the other young staff that I have, I'm so happy because the dedications they all have to the fair trade, to supporting these artisans, it's amazing. They are so young to be thinking about others, but they do think about others and they care about the artisans. When we get an order, it's like Yasmin or Salam, they are happy because they know this order goes to these 5 artisans. Oh, they are getting work for this month now. So it is dedication. It's belief in the fair trade principles. It's belief that we are doing something positive to support these artisans. And this cancer, I think it just gave me another mission in my life. I'm going to also work on women empowerment, that it's not a shame to be sick. Never be ashamed. Love yourself. Yes.
It's an inspiring story, inspiring story. Let's get to the artisans and the Fair Trade Artisans organization. Let me ask Salam, when you talk about, your mom started this, but when you talk about the origins of Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans, what's the story you tell?
Okay, so Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans was actually started by Suzanne and a group of supporters, which are the board of directors now 10 years ago in 2009, 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
It was started to support the artisans who were damaged by occupation, economical situation, the building of the wall, the separation wall, many different aspects that accumulated and had those artisans close their workshop. At that time, Bethlehem area was the Christian Bethlehem area was 90% damaged by the building of the wall. So they basically closed most of their workshops, and the tradition was dying. So at that time, those group of aspiring people, which one of them was Suzanne, said that, no, we need to do something. At this point, our heritage is dying. Olive wood mainly was being just it's being demolished. So and artisans were dying out of hungers. They had no money to buy bread because they were selling most of their products in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem closed for many million reasons, economical again, and
because of the separation wall. And this all predates the pandemic, right? This all
so from both sides. Yeah. Yes, so predates. So we had to let's say like come through, but we started with when the separation war started. So back then we started selling for 2 artisans just to see marketing and say like, okay, you're here to support Palestinians. Would you like to buy this product? It's a beautiful product. And it started as just a charitable organization to support the artisans in a charitable way. We did not think more about innovation, about production at that point 12 years ago. And now BFTA proudly supports more than 1,000 artisans. Working with many different handicrafts. You can name it: ceramics, olive wood, wool, embroidery, many different products, recycled, reused, sustainable products that we love and people love. So we started as a charitable organization to support the artisans and talk about their story. Now they have a much bigger story to tell, a new collection that they develop yearly, beautiful products, amazing projects that makes them leaders of their community. Most importantly, they become fair trade supporters. So they are supporting themselves, but in addition to that, they are giving back to Palestine, their country, by being respectful to fair trade principles. Fair trade is a term to, let's talk about it very briefly.
I was just going to ask you, define fair trade for us.
So define fair trade very briefly. It's a fair way of doing business. So very briefly, simply, you support artisans or producers, and at the same time, you're supporting the right of customer. So it's a law that assures business is done ethically. Very simply, this is how it is. It denies child labor. It does not allow any women mishandling with women, environmentally friendly work settings, many different aspects that you think are things that are supposed to be there at work, but sometimes think again, they are not. unfortunately.
Yeah. You said it's the law. Is this Palestinian law? Is this international law? Or is this a law of this concept of fair trade?
It's actually developed by the World Fair Trade Organization, so it is international law. It's an international organization established many years ago to support business, to support fair trade business, and now many different organizations throughout the world are going into being members. So we were granted to become a member in 2015.
13 guaranteed and 2015.
Guaranteed member, yes.
What does the guaranteed member of the World Fair Trade Organization in the Middle East mean? What is a guaranteed member?
To become in 2013, we were approved as a WFTO member. 2015, they sent an audit. They sent a group of people from the World Fair Trade Organization, which is mainly located, the main office in Holland. They send you an auditor that speaks your language and speaks the English language. So this auditor will visit these artisans, speak directly to them without a mediator. So the auditor comes in ahead of time. She gets information from us, who are the artisans, their mobiles, their phone numbers, their locations. And then she visits those people without letting us know who they visited. They choose a group of people to talk to, and then they write you a report. And they tell you in the report, the audit is not to really judge you, it's to tell you how to improve. So in the report, yes, they tell you in the report exactly what each artisan have shared with this auditor. It's not to judge us, it's to teach us to improve. How can we be a better Palestinian Fair Trade Organization? And we were guaranteed so we can use the guaranteed label directly on the product when we sell it.
So
it's an honor for us. We were the first in the Middle East, and it's an honor because it was an experience. We asked for it because we want to learn to be better.
Fantastic. We've got your promotional video queued up here to share with our audience. Let's take a look at that and see some of the detail, and then we'll come back and talk more about the organization and fair trade and the rest of it. Let's take a look at that video now.
Today, Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans presents you with the new established craft village. Our craft village will open a new door of opportunities for our artisan men, women, and handicapped groups. A new bridge to reach countries all over the world in just one place. This craft village will demonstrate the work of BFTA, which is to link our partner artisans to you, to our friends, to our partners abroad. As a visitor, you will have the ability to live a new and amazing experience. You will visit women and handicapped groups working on both recycled glass and recycled wool, in a specifically established room for this prototype work.
كانت بدايتي مع المؤسسة من 2006 لحد اليوم. أنا صار عندي 3 عمال، كل عامل مسؤول عن عيلة وبمثل الدخل الأساسي لعيلته. من الأمور المهمة اللي أثرت في التسويق، جلبوا لنا متخصصين في هذا المجال من أوروبا ومن دول ثانية، كان لهم هدف كبير في إنهم يعطونا أفكار جديدة، وغير عن الأفكار إنهم يفتحوا أسواق جديدة. وهذا بالنسبة لشغلنا إنه بيعتبر إنه خطوة كثير رئيسية إنك أنت تجد سوق جديد.
Trade gift shop has a wide variety of traditional handmade products, hand-produced by artisan partners from all over Palestine. By purchasing a product from the Craft Village Fair Trade gift shop, you are not only buying a memory or a souvenir, you are also helping to spread the story behind this product, the story behind the artisans who made this beautiful handmade product.
I've known these friends since 2009 when they first started their work. My organisation looks to support the artisans here in Bethlehem through a variety of trade with them on a regular basis. So we're here in the new Craft Village. I've heard a lot about this place over the last few years and the development of this centre. I've looked around it for the first time over this last weekend. It's an incredible place, and I hope that many of the partners from around the world will come and visit the work that's being done here. This is an important piece of work.
So we want that when the international community, when a group comes and spends a day with us, that they will go back and never forget this day. It's going to be many aspects in the life of the Palestinians. They will learn more about the life, reality, not just come and visit the holy sites. It's meeting the people. Fair trade is all about meeting people, and it's all about humanity. And we hope that through the Fair Trade Network, we are sending a message about the Palestine culture and heritage, and that Palestinians are also people who are struggling, but yet are very talented.
That's nice. When was that video made?
It was in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Because this craft village that you have seen, it was because we are talking about heritage and preservation. This was an old building that was deserted and used as a garbage dump. So we have, by the donors, USAID, we have renovated this place and turned it into a craft village, not garbage dump anymore.
Very
and we
impressive.
thought the best idea is to have a craft village where it's a workshop. Women can come in and work, groups can come and meet women at work. We can host a group for a day. People can come in and buy gifts in the gift shop that we have. It's a fair trade gift shop. And also, like Salaam said in the video, it's more about meeting the people who are behind these beautiful things. So, yeah.
So you have a certain number of artisans who are at the craft village. Where in the region, where in Palestine do the rest of your artisans come from? You said 1,000 people.
Yes, it's even more because we work with the Bethlehem district is very famous with the olive wood production. Mm-hmm. So any of these figures, the beautiful figures you see at the souvenir shops, I'm sure you bought some, are made in Bethlehem district. Now we specialize in all the handicraft. We have traditions like in Hebron. We talk about Hebron. We have the recycled glass and the beautiful ceramic, which I think you have already. Yeah.
We use these bowls every single day for soup, for salad.
And yeah.
From Hebron.
We talk about Hebron. I mean, Hebron, when we started to work with the ceramic and export to the world, we realized that women in the workshops in Hebron were paid much less than the men. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we said, we are a fair trade organization. Would you like us to find you sales opportunities? That means you have to change. Also in Hebron, they are all family businesses. So it's the uncle, the cousin, the second cousin, they are all working together. And there are women, mostly 70% of these paintings on the ceramic, it's done by Muslim women in Hebron. And they are so talented. But I realized when talking to them that they are paid less than the men. So I asked the owner, I said, why are they paid less than the men and they work the same hours? Yeah, but the men have more responsibilities. Then I said, listen, if we want to work with you, you want to be part of this fair trade movement, that means you have to be fair to those women. also. So those women got raised. He changed their seatings because they sit all day and paint. So we made sure that he buys them comfortable chairs. They sit 8 hours. We asked them to give them a new bathroom to those women, give them a nice place where they have to pray. They have to pray 3-4 times a day. So they need a private also, privacy. Because through the Fair Trade Network, we have increased his sales. So he hired more people. Like one of the artisans in Nidal, in our video, he started with us. I remember the first year, 2009, we made sales for him, $1,000. This young man has a unique story. His father died. He's the most intelligent. He was in Bethlehem University. He has to quit the university. And then he has to work in other workshops. Then he established his own workshop to be able to provide for his mother and his sisters. And he had left the university. He was studying physics. He was very intelligent. Then he found that he has talent in olive wood. And this young man now, he has 5 other people working in his workshops. That means 5 other families are benefiting because now we sell between 20 to 40,000 a year for him. So it's same thing in Hebron. We give them, they said, even during the Corona, which was the worst year ever for our artisans, in Hebron, thanks to some of the partners who continued to buy the ceramic, they said we only worked for BFTA orders. We had no other orders. Because we give them opportunities, then they make the change to be better and fairer to their staff at the workshops.
So many questions come to mind. One is that during the Corona, when there were no tourists there, did you find that your mail orders increased, or did you then establish mail order that you didn't have before?
I think I will let Salaam, because that's her project during the Corona. She started this project. Salaam?
So basically during the pandemic, it actually watching the video makes me sad because, the craft village since 2 years now with the pandemic, more than 2 years now, the artisans are not anymore at BFTA. We closed our warehouse, our main warehouse, because we could not keep on having stock on hand due to the pandemic, due to the fact that at the beginning sales stopped and no one knew where we were going. So imagine yourself, you are worried about 3 kids you have at home. Imagine BFTA, we're worried about 1,000, let's say, kids, because basically we consider them a part of the family. So we are the only supporters of those artisans. We had 1,000 people relying on us to generate sales in a situation that was unknown, that even building the wall was something Palestine was used to. Occupation, we've been occupied since so long. This pandemic was something new that no one knew where we were going. So BFTA, we stood up. We said we need to have some strategies. We cannot just stay home and, receive our salaries or not receive our salaries because we have a family to support. So at that time, our team were hiding and just going to the office very minimalistically without no one seeing, because it was actually forbidden to go out of the house, if you remember the first year of Corona.
Yeah.
So we were running around just fighting, and we had some strategies. One strategy was to sell stock on hand. Our artisans were promised an amazing year because just the year before the Corona, which is 2018, Bethlehem was flooding. Palestine was flooding with tourists. If you know Anisa and our partners at Abraham Path, you know that you ask your guides, Bethlehem was flooding with tourists.
You couldn't find a hotel room in 2018, 2019. That's what we were told.
Yes. So you can imagine us telling our artisans, do more, produce in order to just sell all these products in 2019 and 20. And then the pandemic hit. So one strategy was sell on stock on hand, and our partners know we lowered our interest tremendously, basically up to zero. Like BFTA had no interest, although this interest allows BFTA to get back with projects and other parts of the organization. So we lowered it to 0 just to sell stock on hand, and we told our partners, so this is the price only for the pandemic period, and we were able to sell much more through the strategy. One, and then the second one was developing new collections to prepare for the after Corona, because we knew there is light at the end of the tunnel. So we prepared beautiful collection that we shared during the pandemic. Our partners loved. We are still sharing right now, and we are selling. We cannot say it was the Corona was the most horrible year for the artisans, because we made sure they received the income at least for them to survive during this period, and we are happy for that.
And the e-commerce, Salam, that you created.
Yes, and the e-commerce, if I can talk about that a little bit now, and then maybe showcase, if you allow me, showcase the website.
Why don't you do the same, both at the same time? I think it's
Great,
important for us to know. And
great.
while you're setting that up, we have a question from Valerie about asking, does all fair trade include a premium within the purchase price that enables the community to make a joint decision about how to invest that premium or shared benefit?
Yes. Now, as Bethlehem Fair Trade, it's in our custodium that we have to give donations. Donations, like Salam started to speak, as projects. Now, we have, like every year, we have to donate the premium to our student funds at Bethlehem University. We have to donate for the students' loans, because there are students who cannot pay their loans. They go to this fund and they use the money and they give it back later on for other students to use. So every year we have to put an amount into this. Now, for the past 2 years, the premium went to medical cases to our artisans. Unfortunately, we lost like 3 of our artisans because of the Corona, very young. One of our staff, Suhaila, she lost her husband. He's such an healthy man. So we knew when he was in the hospital, she needed more money. We made sure that we paid for the extra medical cases, medicine that she had to give her husband, because unfortunately, the center where her husband was, they only gave them oxygen. Anything else, the family has to pay for the medical requirements for this patient. Yes, and then we have another artisan, one of the young, in the video, I mean, I looked at, he was smiling, he lost his father also. So now he's running the workshop. So we are making sure that we are giving him amount of money to make sure he can buy the raw materials to start working. So yes, the premium every year goes to different issue. We give the handicapped centers that we work with, like Together for Life, Large, who make the most beautiful wool sets. We built a new center for them, actually. We equipped a center because their products are selling really well. So we made a new center nearby our city, a different center where they can also produce more. Another handicapped group, we bought them like a laser machine to do the recycled cards on it and do some small ornaments on the cards. So every year we choose a different cause to use this premium against.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Salam, why don't you share your screen? Let's take a look at the website and you can talk us through some of these products and those stories. I can't hear Salam right now. Are you there?
Salam. Salam?
We've lost your audio somehow or another. Are you hearing her, Suzanne?
No.
No. Okay, let's try that again. Well, while we go backstage and let Salam know we're not hearing her, do you want to talk about what we're looking at, Suzanne?
Yes, this is the actually the website that Salam and 2 of other staff worked on. If you see these baskets, these are baskets woven by women in Nablus. It's called the Women Corner at Nablus. They are very talented women who are using the olive tree, very thin veins to make these baskets. Salam, she's not.
Can you hear me now?
We've got you back. Wonderful.
Am I still sharing my screen?
No, you're not still sharing your screen.
No, I don't know. I cannot. There seemed to be a problem. So I will just have to talk about the website, and then we will share it with our partners.
And we will certainly put the website link in our chat for everybody.
Please. So the e-commerce platform was created actually as part of one of the survival plans through the pandemic. How are we going to reach people if they are unable to visit our workshops and unable to visit us as BFTA, or unable to receive large orders on time due to the pandemic? And unable to reach the customers through wholesale, because wholesale at that time was very, very limited. So I have to tell this point that BFTA sells mostly to wholesale customers. So we sell a wholesaler in the USA, and then this wholesaler distributes to customers in a certain region. So basically, we are not connected directly to the customers internationally. So this was a way to connect to the customers at the end, especially whether it was wholesale or retail. So we built this beautiful website that through this website, you can sell wholesale, you can buy wholesale or retail based on your background and your interest. And with very reasonable shipping price and reasonable prices, you get your product at your doorstep as you're buying from any other organization. So this has helped our artisans tell their stories during the pandemic also, using the e-commerce platform. And this has made us come near our partners internationally.
Sure. I'm the beneficiary of your e-commerce in this regard. I bought the Khalili bowl while I was in Hebron, but this I ordered online. It's a beautiful. Tell me about the glass that is used in these blown glass ornaments.
Salam, or sorry, okay. Now this glass, it's it's a mix of different colors to make this. This is a green, or is it green?
It's green. This one is green.
Okay, so it's all recycled actually. Yes, it's beautiful green, by the way. Our green is a bit darker, so. I have.
So it's recycled glass from.
It's recycled glass. It's glass, beer, any kind of glass. They mix it together to make this color, different colors. And sometimes they buy a glass that is not used for anything, but mostly it's recycled. They make it. They scratch it and then put it into the fire to produce the color that they want to produce. Now we are making actually hearts using this recycle, not only the bowls, and because we have a special project with women. It's called Bethlehem Bubbles. It's a woman who created a design every year, and she asked. We have 40 women work for her. They paint on these glasses. Easter, Christmas, Mother's Day, different occasions. So this is another way of giving women also. I'd like to say something really special, because there's a woman in this who's listening to this, Linda Cohen, who hosted me in her home, paid for my ticket to come to Martha's Vineyard. She became one of our biggest supporters during the past years, and mostly through the pandemic. I know she did not sell well, but yet she made orders because she wanted to support those artisans. So I want to thank Linda, if I may. Linda, I love her very much, and I love going back to Martha's Vineyard. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And Linda has a question for you also, Suzanne and Salam. She says she and many of her customers at Olive Branch Fair Trade, and that's olivebranchfairtrade.org for anyone who wants to take a look. She and many of her customers were concerned that some artisans had to close their workshops and sell their tools. Is there a way to help them get reestablished?
Yes, because during the pandemic, I'm sure Linda was receiving my press releases. I used to write human press releases telling the stories of the artisans. Yes, many have closed their workshops. Many have opened, sold their machines and have maybe opened small supermarkets or want to work in a supermarket. So they were really the most affected. I know the hotels, the souvenir shops, but these hotels and souvenir shops are owned by rich families. I know they are affected, but the most affected were these family artisans who really, I know we had to go to Caritas, Jerusalem, to request humanitarian food packages for 20 of our artisans whom we knew didn't even have food in their homes. And that's why when we started, when Salam spoke about, we said, okay, so many of our friends abroad said, Suzanne, can we send some money? I said, no, thank you. We don't want money. Buy their products. This is when we sold their stock and we used the slogan, earn a living with dignity. We don't want donations. Please buy their products. I know maybe you cannot sell, but at least they are selling their products with dignity. So we helped so many. We were able to sell like 70% of the stock with them, 30% left, which we will sell this year because we want to give them new orders. So Linda and others supported us by making orders. That's how they supported us. Unfortunately, government did not extend any kind of support. We were even ready as staff to take no salary at these few months or take half a salary to even support the artisans. We supported them with medical cases, humanitarian, without them knowing, because they are very dignity people. So when you send them a package of food, they don't know who sent this package to them. They just seen it on their doors because we don't want to let them feel bad. So Linda, by ordering more, this is how you can support these artisans to earn a living with dignity. This is our slogan.
It's a wonderful slogan. One of the small efforts that the Abraham Path Initiative has made to be of assistance and to raise awareness, besides having an opportunity to bring you to our audience. At Christmas time, we have had a live online tour of Bethlehem, and we bring audiences from around the world, from 6 continents, to join a live host who walks us through the city and to Nativity Square and Nativity Church and Manger Square. And we got to see how empty the markets were. And our guide Hazem Banura would speak about how different it was in 2020 and in 2021 from past years. We have a little bit of video from that live online tour, and it was live. I'm saying this to our audience, so be patient with us in terms of the quality, but I'd like us to take that little bit of video and have you and Suzanne and Salam talk us through what we're seeing in terms of the craft part of it. You know, we're seeing things that just look like products. You can give us a little bit more detail. To me, this looks like a handmade dress.
It's a handmade embroidered dress, yes. Beautiful. This is women, it's women work, actually. This is not a traditional, I mean, it's a traditional dress, but it's not related to any city. It's being a beautiful dress.
It's not a traditional pattern, but basically, if we talk about embroidery is a beautiful tradition of Palestine, from all over Palestine. Different cities have different patterns. This particular pattern is, let's say, from the Bethlehem district pattern, but is modified to be more modern on traditional pattern, which is something that we are doing with the artisans currently, to have embroidery resell again in better quantities, because embroidery is being done everywhere. People are buying kits of embroidery instead of buying the Palestinian embroidery. So one of our projects with the women to revitalize the tradition, the heritage of embroidery, is to make embroidery more modern, traditional, and temporary, and cheaper to people so the public can buy it. So using specific country related patterns and different smaller items. So for example, having a beautiful t-shirt and then you have a beautiful embroidered logo that has a bit of a Bethlehem pattern. It tells a story, but at the same time, it's something affordable for the people because embroidery itself is expensive. So just wanted to point that out.
Sure, if things are handmade, I mean, you can see in this close-up that we're holding here, all of the tiny stitches. Mosaics are another tradition that we haven't talked about very much. This is the Center for Mosaics in Bethlehem. And they were working on a replica of the map of the world, the 7th century map of the world, the 6th century map of the world from Madaba. And how do mosaics fit in with your work?
So mosaics, mosaics, we actually fit it in one beautiful thing is that mosaic is sold, let's say, as a souvenir in Palestine, mostly. It's not being sold wholesale as much as other products. So it's being used to be sold as a souvenir inside the souvenir shops or at BFTA or anywhere inside of Palestine. It's also done, artists of mosaic are actually working on ground to produce huge mosaic pieces. So this is how they're making income. There is one in Jerusalem, in Jericho in the center, a beautiful one to replicate the mosaic in the mosque. So many different new patterns. We, through our tour, like we at BFTA, we support people to go see this mosaic studio in Bethlehem or in Jericho. This is a part of revitalization. And we don't sell mosaic wholesale because it's very expensive to ship. Even smaller pieces because it's heavy. So it's being used in different ways. Yeah. But it's a beautiful tradition.
I have a little piece of mosaic behind me. You might be able to see.
Yes.
The leaves that was made by a colleague friend of mine in Amman, actually in Madaba, at the Institute for Mosaic Art and Restoration there. And it's so perfectly put together, these tiny little, just like embroidery, it takes a lot of patience. And a lot of,
you know, there's a lot of talent. And if I may say, during the Corona, the past 2 years, women and men have been so creative, you know, being at home. Really, they were the most creative. Even the Mosaic in Bethlehem are giving now many courses. So many interested people are taking, it's taking the frustration of life into art. Life is difficult, and there was this Mosaic center in Bethlehem is becoming really very famous. I mean, I'd love to when I have time after, I want to go take a course myself. I love it. Like Salam said, we'd love to export it. It's heavy, but people come and buy it. There's some in our gift shop. When Salam takes a group to the center in Bethlehem or Jericho, then they can buy directly from these producers and talk to them and look at them doing. Women in Bethlehem, in Hebron, they started to be their own entrepreneurs. Women have realized that the talent I have, I can do something. Seriously, there's so many talented women, so many new products. Even the group of Bedouin women, which Salam has worked with for the past 3 years to create these wool nativity sets. You know, they are Muslims, and they're making a wool nativity set for us. These women are becoming their own entrepreneur and are becoming empowered by having to produce and be able to produce, to provide for their families. Such lovely ladies. You know? And
when you go to the website, BFTA, Bethlehem Fair Trade website, you will see these wool nativity sets. Yes. Wrapped in wool. If you're looking, I think you've got it well organized because you can look down the drop-down menu and see wool products and go directly to that. So
and those women, we'd love to photograph them, but they don't like to photograph their faces. You know, they are Bedouin women. They don't want to be. But anyway, we photograph their hands making the things. So,
so they'll remain mysterious. We have a question here from Bruce. he says, is there a microcredit element to supporting people, the craftspeople? Do any collaborate with contemporary artists, architects, and designers? This is the second question. Contemporary architects and designers who use computers in their work. Talk about modernizing.
Today,
right?
yes. When we talk about preserving the heritage, now we have been working for the past 5 years with the young generations of these family workshops, because we know that the father is really talented, but he does not want to use a computer. He does not want to create new designs. So we go to the second generation. So we work to the second generations to work on, they are using computers. We have given them some courses with Bethlehem University to use the computer for their own businesses. So now the young generation of the artisans are using their own computers and they are becoming creative. We send our designers to them. We have international designers who come to create new products. We have projects like from the USA. Hopefully now they want to bring a designer to work with these artisans to look for our new market, but yet to see what can these artisans make. So yes, they are talented, the new generation. The older generations don't have, I mean, they don't even want to look at a computer. That's why we are using their children, their next second heritage people.
Well, let me put this question to you both as our final question, which is the question of cultural heritage preservation. These are traditions not only in Palestine, but also in Jordan and Iraq and in Egypt and Turkey. You know, everywhere in the world, people have these beautiful traditions of embroidery and glass and so on. What does it do does it threaten the concept or the origins of these cultural heritage traditions to modernize them? What's your view on cultural heritage preservation with regard to modernity?
Yes, so basically modernizing those beautiful crafts only makes them stronger and have stronger roots inside of Palestine. Why? Because we are making those crafts temporary, so we are modernizing them, so you would want to have them in your home. So you think that it's like a story you're telling. So the story should not end. Once the story ends, you talk about it, you brief about it, and it's over. We don't want to end the story. We want to keep the story going. How do we keep the story going? It's by innovation, innovation, and innovation. It's our #1 mission to innovate year round. Each year we have a beautiful new collection made of 20-30 products. Why, you're asking? Are we pushing those products, those past products? No, we're just pushing those past products with the new products, because people need innovation. You want change in your life. We want to keep the raw material, but you need innovation in order to sell the products.
Last word from you, Suzanne?
Yes, well, I want to add what Salam have said. Actually, I mean, our mission is to keep the heritage, but at the same time, if you want to survive and have these artisans survive, I remember 4 years ago, an older man came with a group to BFTA, and he opened my mind. He said, Suzanne, I've seen these ornaments, I had them 50 years ago. Can you not be creative? I want to see different designs. So we are, like Salam said, we are keeping the heritage, but yet we are being more creative. Let's be more creative. I don't want to have, I mean, why do we have Mary and Joseph, Mary beautiful blue eyes? Let's do Mary different. Let's do Mary with a black, yeah. So it's keeping the tradition, making the Holy Family. When we did the Holy Family in a wool set, we've changed that. When you buy Mary as a statue, you are buying recycled wool from the sheep. You are buying a new design, but yet you're talking about the Holy Land. My last words to this, thank you, Anisa and Ravinal and all of the people who've joined us. I want to say something that without the support of the international partners of Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans, we would not have survived last year or the year before. So special thanks to all of those who ordered online, those who ordered as a wholesale, and continue to order with us. Again, we are earning a living with dignity, because that's Palestinians. That's the way Palestinians are. They are generous, they are hospitable. And Anisa, you know, so you are all welcome. The next group of Abraham, we would love to host them for a day or at least a lunch on the roof. We have a beautiful roof at the Craft Village. So thank you for this great opportunity. Thank you.
You are welcome. We're so glad you were here, Suzanne Sahori, Salam Sahori. The work you do is inspiring. The people you are inspire me, and I'm sure our audience is feeling some of that too. Do buy from Bethlehem Fair Trade Artisans if you have a chance. Order soon so you have it ready for next Christmas.
Yes.
And I just want to close by saying that the Abraham Path Initiative is also a nonprofit organization. We're based in the United States. This program, today's program, is a demonstration of our mission. And we are grateful that you're here participating in and attending our events. We'd also be grateful for your financial support to keep our programming alive, and so we can expand our online programming and our online presence. Please go to our website, which is also there, www.abrahampath.org. And if you are so inspired, click donate. Please join us for next month's webinar as well. We look forward to seeing you then. And thanks again, Suzanne, Salam. I'm Anisa Mehdi. For all of us at the Abraham Path Initiative, thanks for being here. We'll see you next month.